Hey, come on. Hey, what?
Here we go, here we go, here we go now. Let's chit chat, this is the show now.
Come on.
Bad black mama's gonna let you know now. Here we go, here we go, here we go now.
Come on.
Let's chit chat, let's chit chat, let's chit chat, sis. Hey,
What's up?
let's chit chat, let's chit chat, let's chit chat, sis. Hey.
I'm glad we are here together because we are sister girls and we're family and friends all in one. And this episode came from Jaslyn. And you know, Jaslyn, when I first started doing a little research on this episode, I thought I went to the goody side of, being a friend, somebody and picking quality friends. But after talking to you, I missed a big chunk of friendship. You know what I mean? And I'll say this because I don't know how your journey is, Keisha, or your journey, Jaslyn, in life of, having friends. But I can say that, I always had a core of friends of people I grew up with, and we are lifelong friends. And I would consider, you ladies as not just my family and my friend as well, but I met y'all in my, 30s, 40s,
Yeah,
you
later.
know, so on and we're lifelong friends. But I also know the people that I have met and they were only seasonal friends. You know what I mean? I felt like I was doing so much, you know what I mean, to be their friend. When I say doing so much, when they need something, I'm always doing it. You know what I mean? When something controversial happens, I'm always trying to be the solver or the peacemaker, and these events was happening more often than not. And then I had to realize that it was okay to not have those people as my friend. People I know, I'm not angry at you. I'm not considering you an enemy, but we just are not friends. You know what I mean? So on that note, I'm going to sit back and chill and say, take it away, Keisha and Jaslyn. So I don't know who want to go first, but I know y'all both have some really substantive information to share.
You should start off with Keisha because Keisha still got one that I'm interested to see this point.
Okay, well, friends, because the song is in my head. What about your friends?
Mm-hmm.
So
What about
anyway, I have some really good friends, and I have some friends that I've been knowing literally since 3 and 4 years old.
Me too. Yep.
That's really my good friends. Do we talk every day?
Nope.
No. Sometimes we can go months without talking, but when we pick up the phone and we talk to each other, it's just like we never left. And I know that life happens and life get in the way, but we're never upset with each other because we did not get a chance to talk to someone. So when I think about a definition of a friend, I think about someone who is just honest, trustworthy, someone you can vibe with, someone who can understand you, keep a keeper of secrets, someone that can advise you, let you know when you're wrong, but you're not all this rah upset, and someone that can respect your boundaries and you respect theirs. So that's what I think about when I think of friends. And I do have some core people that's in my life that's not a friend. By me being, I always say this is a Capricorn kind of trait. My Capricorn trait is that I am literally a loner, but I have friends. But I can do either. I can be by myself for long periods of time. But yeah, I have core friends. I don't need a lot of people around me to be happy or satisfied. But I'm true to the people that I'm true to. And I think that's like a trait that I don't know all that.
That is a Capricorn trait. That is because my dad was a Capricorn and he was just like that too. He had friends, but he was happy being rolling by himself.
Yeah.
I love to hear when people say, because I'm a this, because I'm like, then it makes sense when I tell you, because I'm a Sagittarius, leave me alone. I'm one of those friends that's very low maintenance, and I need the same from you because, we have our own lives. I just got married. I have to be his friend. I just got a new kid. I have to be his friend too. I need somebody that gives me a break. I want to be sometimes by myself. So being around people that understand, like, can I just be like, hey, I'm a Sagittarius, leave me alone.
Mhm.
But I do require low maintenance friends. I need, I set up the list of what I want my friends. I put like, I do prefer to have people that align kind of with like the stuff I believe in, because
Mhm.
a friendship shouldn't be so much work. I know that sometimes we want to have debates and everybody respects each other, but it's not, that's unrealistic. So a lot of the times you can be having an argument about something you really believe in, and you end up being enemies secretly because you're not going to tell each other. This is a lot of hostility. So I'm like, I'd rather have somebody that when I say something, we agree on it. Whether, if we're in public and we have to, change it a little bit, cool. But I don't want somebody I have to constantly be fighting with. It's stressful.
Oh, yeah, definitely not.
Even if
Exactly.
it's friendly fire, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, but I don't really agree with that. And it's like, oh, this is something that I'm very, stuck on. So now I
It's
know
just,
we're gonna be.
it's just like if I was on a reality TV show, like we watch reality TV shows, and if I have to be with someone I have to argue with all the time, I'm not going to be there. I can't do that. I just can't.
And
That's
be
So it's going to
debating
be
you all the
somebody that I'm
time.
going to have to pretty much get along with.
yeah.
Yeah, I
My
mean,
reality
nobody
show
want to
would be
do
very
that.
boring. It'd be us just hanging out.
Yeah.
We're
Fighting.
not even gonna hang out because
All
we're
right.
I got stuff to do. You gonna hang out with Preston, my little boy? He be running. You don't want that
we,
boy running around.
so don't you think you have to have some type of like mind to be friends?
Yes.
I think I think that sometimes you can force a friendship when you don't have like minds. You know what I mean? You put yourself in this precarious situation and have a lot of drama because you don't have like minds. And it's okay to have like minds. Don't you agree?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I agree.
I don't know who made it a bad thing where it's like you need to hang out with people that they make it seem like you'll learn more from other people, but it's like we're never gonna really learn from each other.
Oh, you're
Nobody-
gonna learn something. You're gonna learn something real quick. You're gonna learn how to deal with drama. You're gonna learn how to deal with messiness. You're gonna learn how to deal with things that don't have nothing to do with your comfort.
it's
Compromising.
it's
Really.
not attractive to me. That's not something that I'm like, oh, I'm
Mhm.
gonna spend my free time with a person just fighting about
Mhm.
small things.
That is so true. Like I think that the things that I like, my friends like too. And we kind of roll in the same way. And all my friends are not married people, you know what I mean? But my friends have a committed type of mindset so that it is different, you know what I mean? It's not that they have to have a husband, but they don't want to be like just ripping and running the street because you can't keep me there because guess what? I'm tired. I want to go to bed. I don't want to be I don't want to be I'm getting more like Keisha. I'm gonna tell you because Keisha, when I tell people now, if you can't catch me by 8:30, I can't talk to you. Don't call my phone because I'm like winding it down. You know what I mean? I need friends like that. And I get up early. You know what I mean? I get up early. So I could shoot Keisha a text at 6:30 in the morning because she up too. You know what
Yes, I
I mean?
am.
It's just the little things that solidify friendships. But it doesn't always go like that. Y'all want to agree?
So you know what, Auntie? How do you feel about? Because you say you have a lot of friends that aren't like married.
No.
How do you feel about like influence and stuff? That's like the biggest thing. I'm like, even if you're not doing something, you're sitting in that aura. Because I'm married. I have friends that are in there like men ain't period. So I'm not personally doing anything myself, but I'm sitting in that aura, like where you're constantly telling me how men ain't this and you hate your baby
It
father.
makes me feel uncomfortable.
Very.
It makes me feel uncomfortable. Now, I will tell you, it was a period of time that I could sit in that aura because the person I went wasn't shit. And we all could just sit and talk about that together. But when your mind changes with different things, you got to roll with people just like that because I'm telling you, it makes you feel so uncomfortable. Like, I don't want to be talking about, my biggest pet peeve is, and if my husband was sitting right here and like my brothers and sisters, they know me so well with this. If you really want to turn me off, and I'm never going to say it to you, but I will back away from you. Gossiping. Because I remember my grandma used to tell me, you know what I mean? Don't be going over to somebody's house and opening your head up. Now I know what that means. You know what I mean? Telling all your business and getting into the stuff.
Open your head up.
She said,
Okay.
open your head up. But think about what she was saying. You go in
Yes.
there, this open, and from a child, you know what I mean? I just never wanted to be in that. I just want to talk about what we can do is hang out and have fun and do little things like this. Do you want to do this? You like my hair like this? I like your hair like this. That was always fun for me. That talk about that one over there and this one did this and a big, huge turn off for me. Huge. And I'm okay rolling by myself too. But when I feel exhausted like that, Jasmine, so if I have friends that make me feel, I'll say, compromised like that, we're gonna end up parting ways. You know what I mean? Because it's exhausting to me. You know what I mean? Sometimes I think I have such a high introverted mindset that I can't take a lot of moving parts. You know what I mean? Because I'm a person that is a doer. I do a lot of different things. But when I get hung up on one level where somebody keeps on like nagging at me for things and trying to put things in my head, yeah, we can't do that. We can't. So I hope that answered the question, but
gossip also comes with that whole thought of like, I mean, I can't tell you, I probably learned this like a few months ago where it's like, you know, you can't really be friends with somebody that's friends with somebody that's not cool with you. Cause I'm thinking
absolutely,
you're cool. But I remember I had a conversation with a family member and she's like, Jasmine, when those two get together, do you think that they're giving you any type of mercy? And I'm like, no, but that's my homegirl. She's like, that's not your homegirl. I'm like, oh, that was a couple of months ago. I'm like, how long have I been going through that? Where I just give people the benefit of the doubt, like, well, they wouldn't talk about me the way, because I wouldn't do it.
That is so true. Save yourself the pain. Save yourself the pain. If you got a friend that's saying they're friends with somebody who you know you're not good friends with, or you're not even on good terms, you got to look side-eye at that person, because they damn sure not having a conversation pleasantly about you. You know what I mean? Or you going to sit there, because I put this out on the post one day. What are you saying when that person is saying something about me? You know what I mean? Exactly. Are you sitting there and you just like, okay, yeah, no, yeah, big point, big red flag.
You got red flags and friendships. That's true. Ooh, just like your relationship, red flags for friendship.
So, talking about that, let's talk about how, what to look for or allow things to happen before you call someone your friend. So, what to kind of look out for. So, watch how they handle private information. You just talked about a friend that's your friend, that's a friend of a person that's not cool with you. If you tell that person something, does it go around? So if you tell them something and your private information comes back, you know that that's not your friend. And how when you go through difficult times, are they supportive of you? Or are they encouraging you? Or are they available for you if you need them?
Or vice versa.
A good one is, how do they respond to your triumphs? Personally or professionally, are they happy? Oh, girl, look at her. She just moved over there to her little house. You know,
a little house.
Yeah, little. Everything is little. Or she got her little show over there. Or, you know, your great things are little. They're doing that little vacation you just went on.
Well, you know, they'll tell you like, you'll see, you get something. I recently just bought a house, and I had friendships where it was like, oh, this is cute. I wouldn't do that. I would want the $4,000 one version of it. And I'm like,
like, would you even have $4,000 talking?
It's expensive. I'm like, this is nice too. What do you mean? But that's stuff that I go like, whoop. I don't let a lot of stuff slide because I'm grown. I'm like, I don't want to be in a stressful situation. I've made sure my life is very stress-free in my real life for you to come and try to. I'm like, that's that thing that you just said with the triumph. You have to realize who's always around you when you're sad, when you're going through something very traumatic. Who's always there like, I'm here for you, friend. But then you get out of that and you're like.
So have you ever been in a situation that you was going through something and that friend was seemed like they were more happier that you were going through something than they were when you started to receive your blessings? Because it's really obvious. You just got to sometimes reflect and see how they act. You know what I mean? When you're going through something, you know what I mean? what advice was they giving you? That's a huge one. What advice was they giving you compared to the advice they give you when things are going in a successful pattern for you? Two different
Mhm.
things. You know,
Mhm.
that's a self-identifier too. Like, okay, I'll give you a perfect example. When my children were little, and I had a person that I used to call a friend, and I went through like it was like a tumultuous storm. Like I was getting divorced, my grandma and my aunt was killed, my children was little. You know what I mean? I was living in a place where I had no family members. And I had nobody who could just like, hey, let me help you with your kids and all these things like that. But what I could get was a phone call every night and say, so what happened now? What's going on with you now?
Mm.
What's going on with this? How the kids? What's this?
And that storm never left, but it subsided. You know what I mean? So you learn to deal with grief. You learn to deal with life without your husband. You do the best for your kids, and things will settle out, because that's what giving yourself grace and God giving you grace will eventually happen. But then the conversation with the friend changes to,
Mhm.
how
Mhm.
did you get that job like that? What did you do to get that job like that? And you don't think about so and so no more now that you're not married? Why do I have to keep reliving things that I'm already past and you keep putting me back in it?
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Why do you keep on, like, it's no hard feelings over here? So why you have to be the one to keep presenting it? These are a lot of red flags, and these people call
Mhm.
a friend. Yeah. And I'll say this to you, Jasmine, because you are me and Keisha are old married people. When you are newly married, you have to really watch out for friends. You got to watch
Not
out
up
for
in
people.
here, cause I don't play with that. Not my
No,
husband,
that's
not
right,
my
kid.
husband, not my son.
Here go another
So
down.
that goes along with boundaries and respecting a code. Do your
Yeah,
friends have
yeah.
a code? Are they going to come to your house and they're going to wear inappropriate stuff at your house
Mm,
with your husband? Things like
mm.
that. I've been at Kim's house. I'm not that. We're not doing that. My
Some
interest
people
is with
do that.
Kim. I'm friends with Keith. I like Keith, but my interest is with Kim, not Keith.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's things like that. You gotta have to have a
You
code.
also have to know, because I'm younger, so I'm a lot more naive, and I admit that there's people that I'm like, this is my friend, this is my friend. So I've learned through those lessons that if somebody tells me, hey, that's not your friend, I ain't gonna question you, because I know you're my friend. I've had this situation. We were talking about it this morning. I have friends that I'm like, hey, babe, I want this person to come. If my husband is telling me no, I don't feel comfortable with this person coming, I'm not gonna tell you how much this is my homie. My husband said he doesn't feel comfortable. Ooh, the
Because it's
same.
something
That's
that
what
your
he said
homie
at the
did.
beginning. Not up in here. I put boundaries on anybody. I've had that conversation where it's like, I love my mother to death, but if my mother even says something that I feel it's a little, I'm like, boop. It doesn't matter, because at the end you have to protect your unity. Our family is, your family. You were born into that. The
Mhm.
family you create is your new family. Now I have to create my family for my son and my husband, so
Mhm.
he can go and my son can have healthy relationships.
Mhm.
So it's, you got to know your boundaries. It's a survival thing. It's the only way
Mhm.
your family survives.
So if you think about that, my grandmom used to, another one, her saying, she had so many, I need to write a book about her saying, like, if the devil ring the doorbell, you ain't always got to answer it. You know what I mean? So you go and fool around and invite people into your circle. You know what I mean? Because you know, I think women are just pleasers. You know what I mean? And friendships start with trying to please each other. You see what I'm saying? Sometimes, and especially if you have a husband, I think you can identify a lot of things. I can write a freaking book about people that I've moved into an area, not our area, Keisha, but people I moved into our area, and no, this like y'all gonna be trip out. My kids was like infants and a toddler, and I would go out of town because I would go to Philadelphia a lot, and those people was at my house. You know what I mean? I'm not there. But they used to have all kind of questions for me. So why do you do this? Or how did you do this? And all this thing. The questions are always the red flag. It's asking you different little things that is not normal. So, friends can be turned into enemies really quick. You know what I mean? And then sometimes you self-identify and be like, that person never was my friend at all. That was never my friend. And I let them in. You know what I mean? I let them in. So, Jasmine, tell us about the example, because that you were talking about friends. Think of somebody your friend to become deadly.
Yeah. So, I mean, I did my best to research the word. If it's not correct and everybody knows how to say it, like go into the comments and tell me how to say it. Is amicide, and it's the act of killing a friend. So now, the example that I was telling you guys earlier of the Shanquilla Robinson girl went to Mexico. It was 6 of them. It was like 4 of those people weren't her friends. She went with her best friend, and her best friend was the one that's kind of insisting, let's go, let's go. These people are cool. She actually got to Mexico before her best friend, and she was hanging out with these people before. So I'm like, you know, all this stuff happens now, and it turns out that it was like the best friend, the one that's hung out with the family, that mourned with the family, has been around them, is the one that probably was the ringleader of all of this. And I'm like, this girl is just, it's a very naive personality, very like nice and calm. And I'm like, this is a girl that probably, this is what I'm trying to say when I say sometimes we have to break up with our friends, because this is something that probably could have been avoided by her just saying, no, I don't feel, you know, I don't feel comfortable. And now, you know, this girl's dead, and it's probably not going to get solved because this is an international.
Because it's in Mexico, and they can't even really force them to bring them to justice, and it's so sad because I saw an interview with her mom, and I was saying this woman is heartbroken because the same people been up in your house with your daughter, you know what I mean, secretly envying her, you know. And that video, because I saw the video before.
I couldn't watch it.
Oh, it was terrible.
I couldn't. I tried to avoid that story at all costs.
It was terrible. It was. It just made me cry immediately because she was so naive, letting the person in, letting them in, beating her up. I mean, beating her up, and the best friend is standing there videotaping it. All of them need to be locked up. And I'm just saying, you can't get your child life back. You know, that's why you try to tell your kids, please.
So that had to be some unresolved jealousy somewhere in there. That was a red flag that evidently the girl that was unalived missed.
Think about it like this though, Keisha. They didn't know each other. So what is her best friend telling these people about this girl that will make them feel so up that they can put this girl in this girl was getting beat up naked. She didn't have no clothes on.
That's what I'm saying. The girl, the ringleader. Yeah, the friend had to be telling them something, and the friend itself had some jealousy towards that girl. It was something that she didn't like or wanted to stop. And that's why she had the friends, or however the story, because I don't know the story, so I'm not going to say, but something had to be wrong. Definitely had to be wrong there.
With that best friend.
With the best friend.
That best
friend. Which what she considered to be her best friend.
That's where the problem comes in at. And you know, I think about me and Keisha got children around the same age, and you feel like you can't tell them who to be friends with, so on and so on. But when I tell you, I try to keep my third eye open, this one back here and that one over there with the radar going way around. I try to keep it open because I'm always, you know, that one seemed a little strange. And I mean, I used to get into heated arguments, especially with my daughter, over who was her friend and who was not her friend. And
I want the mothers on this show to put all their kids on the screen when I say this. Listen to your parents. Because I'm proud, you know, I'm in my 30s. And there was so many times that my mom's like, that ain't your friend. And I would sit there and fight with that woman. And then I'm like, man, that was not my friend.
When they look and they say,
But I'm thinking, I don't see it. My mom is the friendliest person in the world. If you come in a room and my mom hasn't smiled or anything, I'm like, here we go. But I know that's the last time you're coming, because I'm not going to tell her no. My mom will tell you straight up, that's not your friend. And I'm like, all right, no questions asked. I'm moving on.
Yeah. And
you know your personality. You know your kid's personality. You know who's up to par with them and who's not, who's more advanced. You know, we don't.
Yeah, and they come like a thief in the night. I'm telling you, and they tell your daughter, your son, all the things they want to hear. But all the things they want to hear is all the things that you told them was not right. You know what I mean? And it sounds good to the ear, but taking them on is where you got to watch them, because you don't want them to put your child in a situation where this poor young girl lost her life over people she didn't really even know, trusting her best friend and bringing other people in your circle. That's where you got to be protected. We just live in a world, we have to keep it real that people are not who they say they are plenty of times, and we got to be able to protect ourselves. And I say this already. Hey, at my age, I already had the people I love. You know what? I love you. These my friends. I don't need too many more entrants coming in. I ain't gonna. That sounds terrible. I don't. I got a couple extra tickets that I got in reserve for whatever God bring me. That's a blessing in my life. But anything else where I go out, we just meeting like that. We just gonna be networking. That's it. We gonna be networking. You can't come to my house and you can't meet my husband. He ain't gonna make you dinner. No.
Man, he can't cook. What is? But I've known my husband for a very long time. He ain't that funny. I'm like, there's nothing that my husband has to do.
That is not gonna happen. So
So now with that, how do you know when it's time to break up with your friends? When do you break up?
All the things that we just said, that the flags, the red flags, and everything that we mentioned.
How do you break up? Because I'm sorry, in my technical age, I'm gonna just block you.
All right, so I was this situation a long time ago. Matter of fact, I think I was just out of college, and I just moved to Richmond. But actually, I had an apartment in Greensboro with me and a friend that I went to college with. Well, you know how you have your name on things and still have your name on things, but we're selling it out. Getting to the story. Anyway, that person just happened to think the telephone bill was in my name, because back then, phone. So so she just kept on making these long distance phone calls in my name she never paid for, and then I ended up getting the bill for it. Okay. And so what happened was our lease was getting ready to come up. So I was still in Richmond, but what I did, I called the rental office and I went and got the check earlier. So she called me. It's like, I didn't get the money. I said, no, because you had this phone bill and this is what I'm going to pay it for. Once you cross me, it's like, that's it. And then that was it. That was the last conversation we had. I would never do that to her, but she did that to me, which caused me at the time to have bad credit over something I did not do. So no, it's a no. Once you do something, it's like, and it crosses the line for me, it's a wrap. Yeah, and my close friends know that. They know how I am. It's like, it's a wrap with Keisha. And I'm a live and let live kind of girl. I really don't bother anybody, but just don't come down my lane. just don't.
I feel the same way. If something like that, that's a prime example. You know what I mean? Something like that. Guess what? I'm gonna chunk it up as my loss, but we won't have to deal with each other anymore. Actually, you gave me a easy out. You know what I mean? You gave me an easy out, because doing something like that, that's prime blatant. You know what I mean? Okay, you're gonna run the bill up. It's in my name. These things like that make me have like, even if I didn't have any money and I had a friend and they were kind enough to put a bill or something and we're sharing this and I just don't have the money, I can tell you exactly what I would do. I would go to them and I would say, I don't have the money, but right now, can I pay this much and pay this much? I'm gonna make it a rank. I'm gonna be so to the forefront, because I think about in my 20s, like, I ain't had no whole lot of money. You know what I mean? So I just want to be honest. I'm just gonna leave you and stick you with something like that. But it's also a great way to get rid of a person too. Okay, because sometimes you got to be good to get rid of people. Okay, I'm good with that. Maybe I got to work this off my credit and I got to pay for it now. But now, guess what? I'm done with you. I don't have to deal with that. You know what I mean? And if I see you, I'm still smiling. Be like, hey, how you doing? How's things going? Hi, I see you go. Oh, I gotta go over here, and that's how that's gonna go. But I think it's sometimes the act, and I don't know. Y'all could tell me if I do that. The act of trying to hold on to people as friends, overlooking the bad habits, overlooking the things that is blatant jealousy, and still saying, because sometimes you think about, we were in high school and things like that. You had some friends who were the end friends, they were real popular, you stay friends with them, and they ain't friends with nobody. You know what I mean? They're all about themselves, and you just stay friends with them. Now we are grown, seasoned women. Nobody got time for that at all. we won't talk anymore. We won't. We'll just be done with it. So
It also works like in a marriage. How do you get along? Because in a marriage, they bring their own friends.
right.
So that's also another sector.
Oh, that's
Like,
another episode.
that's what I'm saying.
Mhm.
I'm like, we're gonna have to run back because I'm like, we need to talk about the extra now because now you got to
The
find a way to
extra
work
friends
with
you meet when you become married.
which
Those
are your seasonal friends. Because if anything happens, you can't stay with those friends either. So it's a weird. I'm like,
it's very hard. It's very hard. But this is my life experience on that. The people who were friends with me and my ex-husband, some of us has stayed friends because we had just a genuine caring and love, and most of them went when he went. You know what I mean? Because I know, especially if a person is a little challenging, even while you whip that person, you know what I mean? They do little things. They, sometimes girlfriends can do this too, call you and be like, come on, let's go out and things like that. Your husband wants you to stay and do something else. And they just keep pushing and pushing and pushing the issue because they want, that's how people set drama in your house. Well, if that relationship was over, that person was probably going to have to go too. You see what I'm saying? Because they didn't genuinely care. You know what I mean? They didn't care. They're all about causing messiness. And yeah, no. Mm-mm. I think friendships that are meant to be together is not hard to keep together. You see what
Right.
I'm saying? It's not hard to keep together. They just flow naturally. You know what I mean?
Really, yes.
Yeah, I can call you up and say, this was bothering me, Keisha. You know what I mean? And I can. And I can say, Jasmine, this was hurting me. You know what I mean? And this person, is making me feel a certain way. And you could talk to me. You know what I mean? I don't have to tip around the circle to feel like I got to say something to you, or be careful in the simple fact that what you're going to say to me, vice versa. It shouldn't be a struggle to be a friend with somebody.
Exactly. I agree.
when you come to a friend with a problem and they're like, oh, you only come when you need help with something. Where you been? And it's like, I don't need to explain myself to tell you what I'm going through. I don't need that. My friends, I can call whenever I want, just on some, hey, this is what's happening. I called my best friend the day I got married. Like, I'm getting married. He's like, damn, that's crazy. I was like, and that's it. No beef, no hostility. I love my best friend. Everybody I called on my way, hey, I'm getting married. They're like, wow, that's crazy. Call me later. Okay, bye. We never called them. We just text each other here and there. And it's okay. I'm like, I can bring those people around and I don't feel that hostility. I feel like, everybody likes to talk about women divine. I'm like, so live in your divine. Women divine have intuition. You know when something feels off. Go with that feeling, because I don't know many times when I felt something and I'm like, I didn't follow it and it just worked out. It's always been like, crap, I should have went the way I wanted to. Live in your divine energy. Be like, you know what? I don't feel this friendship. You don't got to tell them if you're not a person that likes confrontation, but now.
Yeah. I think that's one thing. Like I'm a person that can really deal with conflict, but now I really don't choose to deal with conflict. And if you come with conflict,
Right.
I'm not even going to argue with you.
Right.
I'm not going to argue with you, and I'm not going to get into debate. You're just going to not hear anything from me because
You be watching reality shows and these people are fighting. I'm like,
yeah, that sounds crazy.
No,
going
no,
on.
I would never
in
do
the first
that.
episode, I'd have been like, I quit.
Yeah.
I would be quitting too.
Nobody
I
want to
would
fight?
quit
Let's go
too.
then. I'm leaving.
One of my favorite reality shows is, and I'm not really a reality show person anymore because I kind of outgrew it. It's just too much. But the Housewives of Potomac, when I just say, none of y'all don't love each other. Like y'all are not friends at all. Y'all are not friends. You know what I mean? Why are y'all pretending to be friends for $1? Yeah, because y'all are not friends at all.
I used to watch
It's $1.
and I can watch it in increments because I don't have that much stress in my life. So when you watch that, it makes you stressed.
It makes you anxious. You know what I mean?
I watch like 1 or 2 episodes and then I'm like, let me take a break for a month and I'll come back, see what's going on with these girls.
Yeah, I go to other shows because I don't,
I'm watching cooking shows now.
Let me go and look at Power. Let me go look at BMF or things like that. When just other nonsense and craziness. But I think this was a good episode. I think we have to do a part 2. And I say this because it was a lot of arms in this episode. A lot of arms.
Yeah.
But one thing I will say is I think we all agree on just the depth of what we consider a friend and one we should consider not. having a friendship with somebody. So that's my final thoughts. What's your final thought, Jasmine?
Well, I'm gonna say hello to all three of my friends. No, I'm just playing. But for real, it's just I hate to say it, but it's like even us now, it's like I'm a new mom. Like it's stuff that I have to live in my mom's energy, where it was like my mom used to be able to pick out my friends immediately. It's now like my son will be playing on the little Nintendo thing, and I hear, and I'm like, that's not your friend. Hang up. Like that's not your friend. So it's just right now it's 2023. This is the most raw year we've had. This is the only way you can save yourself. You're gonna be able to pick people out and be like, you're not, I gotta move on. Because as you can see, unfortunately, people are killing people here for no reason. And you know what it is? Is that loyalty word. That word loyalty word, and we done made something out of it. So you have somebody that knows something is wrong, but because there's a million loyalty memes, they're gonna keep going. I'm like, you can't stop paying attention to the internet. Listen to your mamas.
Keisha?
Friendship should be easy. Simple as
Yep.
that.
It should. It should. Great episode, ladies. So
Yes.
yeah, we're going to definitely have a part 2 on this. And this kind of things make me think of the episode you was talking about, Keisha doing, we'll probably do this around the June time frame. Start to pull up the episodes like this one and have a part, 2 or, that joins onto some afterthoughts that we need to kind of finish out because we try to keep it close and to the point. So join us every Wednesday when we set out a new episode. Catch us on all our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. I'm probably forgetting, and Twitter. We're on everything. So you can never say we're not here. Let's just chit chat, sis is always here. So joining me today is
Jaslyn.
And I'm your girl, Keisha.
And I'm your girl, Kimmy. So see you next Wednesday and have a good week on purpose. Goodbye.